Hey, Rebecca. Welcome, welcome. We're going to start in a second. This is just a night of me just answering every question, any question under the sun about autism. My masterclass people are very welcome to join me. Jen, we're streaming in the masterclass too, yeah?
Yes. And
all right, awesome.
On Instagram.
Hey, Valencia, anybody who has any questions tonight, I'm here to answer everybody's questions. All I'm going to do is share a quick video on Juliana's journey. So if you don't know anything about us, I'm going to be happy to share that information with you. And then we're going to get right into Q&A. So welcome, everybody. Hey, Valencia. Hey, Shannon. Sanaya. I hope I'm not saying your name wrong. Hey, Rebecca, Nira, Megan, Asanati, Allison. Welcome, everybody. Just to give you a quick housekeeping thing here on the bottom here. Oh, let me go live. I'm going to go live on Instagram here. If I know how to do this, there we go. And we are a little crooked. Let me put me over here. Get us all ready. I like me better there. If you want to get coached tonight, I love coaching everybody. If you want to get coached tonight, raise your hand. There's a little gray raised hand button on the bottom. Don't be shy. I don't bite. Raise your hand. I'm going to coach you on anything and everything to do with autism. So any question that you have, bring me your challenges, bring me your toughest questions. If I don't have the answer for you, I will find it and get back to you, but I am pretty resourceful. We do a lot of questions. I handle a lot of different questions in regards to autism. So there's really not too many challenges I can't master. For everybody on Instagram, I'm going to be looking over here, looking over there. With all the technology advances of the world, there is no way for us to stream to Instagram. So I'm going live off my phone. But if you want to join us, I'm in a Zoom Q&A. I'm answering any question that any parent wants to bring to me tonight in regards to autism, any problems. We're going to put together roadmaps for everybody. If you look at the post, the latest post on my profile, the link is there, right, Jen? And where is it? Is it in my bio too, or no?
I put it in the comment section.
All right, she's going to put, you're going to look out for Jen. She's going to put it in the comments. Anyone on Instagram who wants to get their questions answered, who wants to be coached by me and has never had an opportunity to do that, come into Zoom, raise your hand. All right, perfect. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen real quick here. I'm going to show you a really quick video just to kind of give you, I could kind of tell you the story, but I feel like this is just done so much nicer than me telling you that I'm going to share my screen. And everybody on Instagram is not going to be able to see this, unfortunately, but maybe I can point the screen. I will point my camera at the screen. So hopefully, if you can't hear it, just hang on. If you can come into Zoom, even better. And I answer everybody's questions live. You raise your hand. I'm going to share. I'm going to answer all types of goody questions in regards to autism, potty training, communication. Let's go. Okay, so here we go. You can see my screen, right? All right, let me know if you can hear this, Zoom people. Unable to play video. Well, that's always nice. Bear with me here, folks. Try that again. See if I have a place to, let me just make sure I can get this working. And now it is working. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. Everybody who wants to come and get coached by me, there should be a comment in the Instagram. Make sure you're sharing it, Jen. And you guys come and be coached by me. Come into the Zoom. Welcome, everybody from Instagram. All right. Let me know if you can hear this, everybody. I'm going to share it Instagram here. I remember when I got pregnant with my daughter, I felt so grateful and so blessed. My life up until that point had been pretty rocky. I'd had a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, and I finally thought that I was turning a corner and God was blessing me with this beautiful gift of a child. And I just said, yes, finally something was going in my way. And then when she was born, she was just absolutely perfect. I had all of these dreams and expectations for her. I thought of all the things that I thought she was going to do. Yeah, good girl. Right after her first birthday, I started to notice her behavior change.
She went from, saying map. She was obsessed with Dora the Explorer, Mama, Dada. She was saying it all.
Good girl. Say map. Good girl.
Hit all of her milestones up until that point. She walked at 1. She was eating solid. She just, she looked really good. And then I just remember her, it felt almost overnight or very quickly where her demeanor just changed. She went from this super happy baby to crying and tantruming, just frustrated all the time. And I remember saying to my mom one day during one of these tantrums, like, where did my happy baby go? But I didn't think anything past it. I think I was kind of not ready to fathom that something could be off, even though maybe the telltale signs were there.
Let's try, do you want to do Cheerios? You want Cheerios? You don't want Cheerios. Okay. Do you want...
Dressed.
Honey, we gotta get dressed. We gotta get dressed, honey. Come on, time to get dressed.
She started to lose the words that she had gained. She wasn't saying mama anymore. She wasn't saying map. She just seemed really disconnected from us. Instead of playing with her toys, she would take them, dump them all out of her toy box and just start twisting them around her hands aimlessly with no intended purpose. I was really kind of in denial about it. And then I remember one day we were in the middle of a store and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, she just started screaming and yelling like somebody had slapped her. I don't even know what the problem was. And I was so mortified. I didn't even know what to do. I was so scared. I literally just left the half full cart in the store, picked her up and just ran out of there. Never went to that store again. I just didn't even know what to think. And that was probably the first time it really kind of stung for me that maybe something is wrong. They diagnosed her. They didn't diagnose her right away. They said that, she was too young for a diagnosis. I didn't even know what they meant when they said that. I was like, diagnosed for what? I just had no idea what they were talking about. And then they said, we'll come back in if you're not seeing progress. And I said, okay, and a couple months later, I'm watching these speech therapists play with her on the floor. I'm not seeing any progress and felt like she was getting a little worse. And then we went for our 2-year-old wellness visit. And the doctor said that she was behind if she wasn't using 20 words with intent. And that was probably just the knife to my heart. At that point, I really couldn't deny that something was up with her anymore. So then I called the county back in and then she was diagnosed on the spectrum. And I remember that day and it was worst days of my life. It was my darkest hour. I could easily say that. As a mother, as a woman, as just a human being, it was probably one of the hardest times I had ever gone through. And I remember just I went from being so happy with God, so thankful, to being so pissed at him for doing this to her and wrecking this beautiful gift he had given me. And for a while there, I struggled to figure out what this meant or what we were going to do or how this was going to define her. All those dreams I had for her future were just completely shattered. And I had no idea what was going to happen next. And I went from just hopeful to just complete blank when I thought about the future. One night I was thinking, I'm going to die one day, and who's going to care for her like her mother? And something about that thought just snapped me out of my depression and my anger and my fear and said, listen, we got to get to work here. I promised that when she was born, I was going to be the best mother I could be to her. And that promise hasn't changed. In fact, it should mean more now than ever, not less. She needs me now more than ever. And I didn't know at the time what we were capable of or what having those changes, that mindset shift for me was going to do. But I wanted to know that at the end of every night, I could look myself in the mirror with confidence and say, did you do everything you could, Michelle, to give her the best possible life? And if the answer was yes, then that was a good day. And I wanted the answer to be yes, 100%. And no matter where the cards fell, I know I could leave this earth saying I gave her everything I had, no regrets. And as I've navigated this world with her and walked away that day after having that thought, I really just grabbed the bull by the horns. I became her fiercest advocate. I'm not a special education master's degree teacher. I don't know I never had any formal training in ABA, but I knew that I was going to learn whatever I needed to learn to be really strong for her. And Juliana lost all of her language.
You want to do Cheerios? You want Cheerios? You don't want Cheerios. Okay.
She was nonverbal when she was diagnosed.
Show me what you want. Okay. You want something to eat?
We taught her sign language.
Show me. Juliana, show me. Good girl.
Then she went from sign language to word approximations.
What? Is that goldfish? Okay, and give us goldfish.
Then she started to speak.
Say I did it.
She went from the most restrictive preschool environment. She was in a 614, most restrictive preschool, special education preschool environment you could be in.
Your name is Juliana. Good morning to you. Your name is Juliana. And how do you do? Hi, Juliana.
To now where she is almost 8 years old. She's in a second grade class in a gen ed school, integrated class with typical peers. She speaks beautifully now.
What did you like about the troll experience?
I like when they made me look like Poppy, and I like the thing that like touch the paper.
She has a personality. She has conversation skills. There's still things that we need to work on, but for the most part, her future went from black to now having possibilities. And none of that could have happened had I not kind of gotten out of my own way and really hit the ground running and started to take action for her. And I can't say that I could do that for every parent I coach, but what I can tell them is I will have them feeling like I did, looking myself in the mirror, you looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I was everything I could be for her today. I have no regrets. And whatever happens, it happens. It's really for us as parents to know we fulfilled the duty that we promised when we had these children, which was to be the best versions of ourselves, to live, to raise these children. I've helped now hundreds of mothers, coach them one-on-one to do the same things I did, to help them to be strong, to help them to craft plans where we're seeing constant progress. This is what I want to do. I want to give you the chance that Juliana's had. I want to give you every opportunity to give your child that happiness.
Dear Juliana, today you are with a day full of happy moments, spent with friends, many good memories to relive again, and great times. I hope you will never end. Happy birthday, love, Jane.
All righty, let me switch this back here so you guys can see me. I did that right. Great. I'm doing like two things at once here, which is like super dangerous for me. All right, here we go. Anyone who's on Instagram who wants to get their questions answered live, Jen's going to put the link to our Zoom where we are right now here. So you can come in and get your questions answered. If you ever wanted to talk to me, if you have any, like, I'm stumped, my child's having this issue, come into Zoom, raise your hand, let me coach you. So, okay. I am going to bring Allison up first. I'm going to promote you to panelist, Allison, so that way you can share your face with us and you can kind of talk to us a little bit. If you're feeling shy, you can come into Zoom and just watch. If you want to ask questions in the Q&A, like write out your chat, then I'm happy to hear that too. However, I can support you guys. And where is Allison? Allison, I'm promoting you to panelist. You have to, you declined to promote to panelist. Allison, for me to coach you, I have to kind of hear you and talk to you. I'm not sure. Yes, I'm using my phone. All right, Allison, I will come back to you. Post your question here if you want. Nira, I'm going to take you next. And Allison, I'm going to come back to you. I'm not sure what happened there. Here comes Nira. Unmuted. Hi, Mira. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. Ready to
Good.
chat, ready to help some moms and dads and grandparents out tonight. What can I help you with today? Tell me all your
Good.
woes.
Everything. Where do I start? For me, my daughter's 4. She'll be 5 actually next week, September
Okay.
6th.
Oh.
She's going into kindergarten. She's nonverbal. She's, I don't even want to say maybe 25% potty trained. She's maybe like 15%. She does say a few words, like she will say, I kind of got her into the habit of saying pee pee in the potty. So she'll come to me and she'll say pee pee in the potty.
Okay.
But the thing is, she's not, throughout the day, she's still in she's in her underwear. But if we go somewhere, I keep her in the pull-ups just to be on the safe side. I don't want any accidents. And now that she's starting kindergarten, that's kind of like an issue here anyway in New Jersey. They're kind of like, they don't want to. I have a problem with them not, she'll have rashes because they don't want to change her. I don't think that they put her like on the potty as often as they should to like help me with what I have going on at home. So it's kind of difficult with that. But the biggest issue that I have now, working on the potty training, but one of the biggest issues is the communication. I'm trying to work with that. I don't know where to start to get her to communicate effectively, like tell me what she wants or what she needs. And then I have the second issue, the temper tantrums, the falling out, the screaming. She screams and whines at every single thing. I'll tell her to do something and she screams and falls out about it. So
Got it.
I don't know what to do. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. All right. So I like to work on things in like bite-sized chunks, but I want to share something with you and for everybody that's listening. So I believe in the philosophy that there's 3 life skills that every child on the spectrum needs to have a chance at a life of independence. The first one is potty training. The second one is communication. And the third one is minimal or a very little problem behavior or tantruming, aggressive behavior, all that good stuff. And they need to be able to sit and attend. I kind of put them together. Communication and tantruming or that frustration go hand in hand because usually they're pissed off because you can't understand what they need.
Right.
Right.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Of course. So we can tackle a couple of these together. Let's just work on the communication part first. Now, this is one of the big things in my coaching program that we teach our moms is we get very intentional on the thinking that we have around our child. And you described her in the beginning as, what's her name?
Nova.
Oh, I like that. You described Nova in the beginning as nonverbal. I'm very intentional with the language that I use. When you think of Nova as nonverbal, how does that feel?
It doesn't feel good. I mean, it's kind of frustrating because I know that she can use her words. It's just, I don't know if it's the autism or if it's just like, she's being stubborn. Like, I don't, because she can use some words, but I don't know. So the reason why I bring this up, and we're going to talk about tactical strategies to get communication rolling here. Oh, I have her grandmother here too, so she's listening.
Hi, Grandma. How are you?
Hi, how are you? My
Great.
name is Rosalind.
Oh, hi, Rosalind. Hi, Rosalind.
The thing with Nova, and I tell her mom, is that like when I keep Nova and she like anything she wants, she'll bring it to you. Like if she wants juice, which we try not to give her any juice that like I do have apple juice, real it's deleted with water. I add water to it.
Yeah.
So she'll bring it to me if she wants it. Anything that she wants, she'll bring. She'll bring it like a snack. She loves fruits. She loves strawberries. So she'll go in the refrigerator, take the strawberries out and give me the container. Okay. I'll, cut them and wash them and give them to her. But the thing is, she repeats everything that her mom says. Like she'll
So
actually
let me
repeat
ask
it.
you, Rosalind, this is a very good a segue here. Rosalind, would you describe Nova as nonverbal?
Somewhat, because she seems to be, to me, a little somewhat lazy.
Well,
Like,
let's,
'cause
all right, all
well,
right. Okay,
she's
so
saying
let's,
I can't say that.
I want to break down, before we get into tactical, and this is, I think this is so important. I want to break down
I know it's
the language that we're using to describe our children. And when I call a child, when I think of the word nonverbal, I think of a child that cannot speak, that cannot do anything vocally.
right. That's what I would say is nonverbal too. Where
Right?
they go.
Exactly. Yes. So
Wait,
when we
let me
think of, go ahead, Rosalind.
No, where they say, sounds. But to me, Nova, she is nonverbal. However, she's do repeat a lot of words. She tries.
So what does nonverbal mean to you? I think that's important to understand. To both of you.
Nonverbal to me means when a child can't express themselves, I guess.
So
Somewhat
that's, I guess, so this is my point here, is that the language we use to describe our children on the spectrum is 1000% optional. And I want to be intentional with the language that I use for my child. So that's going to want to keep me motivated and keep me wanting to help her from a place of hope, of possibility. If I'm in the state where I'm thinking that this is nonverbal, and I personally I wouldn't describe this child as nonverbal. I'd actually describe this child very much pre-verbal, if not somewhat verbal, because she is repeating. Repeating is the beginnings of language. If we think of a neurotypical child or a baby, they start by repeating things that they hear, not intentionally starting to say, hey, grab me a cup of juice or get me a cookie. They're going to hear and absorb from their environment and start to create sounds from that. So the reason why I'm not trying to get fixated on nonverbal, whatever. If some people say, well, nonverbal is neutral to me. That's fine. It's when nonverbal makes me feel frustrated and makes me feel like shit. And then I say, you know what? Before I get into the tactical of sharing what we could do to get her more communicating, which is not the same thing. I'll go over that in a minute. That's going to make me feel better. I'm going to take action from a different place. I'm not going to take action from frustration. I'm going to take action from hopefulness, because just from like some of the things you listed about her, I know she can do this. She's very smart. She takes me to the things she needs.
Right. So would you consider Nova as being nonverbal?
I don't like the word nonverbal. I really don't, because this is the thing. We believe verbal language as a society means communication, and then it's not the case. You can communicate in a lot of different ways. And this is so important for children on the spectrum, because when we have a child on the spectrum, communication from the thought to the voice is not like automatic. We have to build up that neural pathway to teach them that when I have a thought, I can use my voice to communicate it. I don't understand why. Many don't understand why, but with a child on the spectrum, it's very common that pathway just isn't firing the way it should. So what we do to teach a child that is pre-verbal, I say pre-verbal, it doesn't matter what I call her. What I want to know is when I talk to parents and they say that, it feels like, no, I asked a mom a week ago, I said, how does it feel when you think your child's nonverbal? She says, it feels hopeless. It feels like a dead end. It feels like a death sentence. And I don't want anyone to have that feeling when they're thinking about their kid and then trying to work on communication from that space. I'm not saying that's what it means. I'm not saying everybody who thinks that is what they think. I'm saying I want to be intentional in how I describe my child, because that's going to be the place. 95% of the game is what we believe as parents, not the tactical. Because I know you all came here like, great, she's going to show me how to pie. I'll show you all the tactical, but if we can think and be intentional about our thoughts around a child with autism and think things more hopeful, that's going to be like rocket fuel on top of the tactical I'm going to give you. So thinking about Nova and thinking specifically about her needs, what I would say here is that she's showing signs that she can communicate. She's communicating by taking you to the things that she needs. So what we want to do with her, and she's a repeater. I love repeaters. That's where language starts. That tells me that she can create words. We just need to teach her to create words with intention. So what I would do if we work together, what I would tell you to do is that I would like to form a bridge form of communication for Nova, which could either be sign language, PECS, a picture exchange system. Sign language is what I showed in the video. It could be PECS, or it could be an app with the little pictures of the things that she wants. What I tell parents is you do not need to be an expert in ABA to do this. You can do this yourself. I taught Julie after they taught her the sign for Cookie, and I saw how valuable that was and how quickly she caught on. She learned 10 signs within a week. So what I do is I say, okay, I look at if I was Nova's mom or grandma, I would say, let me know, list out 10 things that she asks for every day. So it could be cookie, it could be juice, it could be go outside, get tickles, get a toy, whatever the case may be. And I'd start one at a time creating signs for her. Now you could do PECS. PECS is like you could make pictures and put them in a book and then have her grab the picture and show you what she needs that way. You could get one of these apps or a communication device. I'm not sure what type of kindergarten class she's going into, but it's something I would collaborate with the school on, because if the tantrums are becoming like what's going to end up happening for a child that's pre-verbal, that isn't taught a bridge form of communication, their frustration is going to increase as the child ages. And then then tantruming happens, then they can get aggressive. We want to avoid that by giving them.
But it's so strange though, because she I'm sorry to cut you off. She only does that with me. Like she only does that home. And
what, the tantruming, right? All right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and this is always great because I get this all the time. She only does this with me. She doesn't do this anywhere else. Give me an example of how this happens. Tell me give me a scenario.
Okay, so if she comes and she'll bring, like today, she brought a bag of cheese doodles and she'd had named dinner. So I told her, no, Nova, you have to put it back. That was tantrum. And I'm like, okay, but her age, I would expect that, like, a child.
Well, that's interesting too. All right, so let me ask you. So let's just play this whole scenario out. She brought you the cheese doodles. You said, no, you can't have them. She flips out.
Right.
What happens then?
So after that, I take it from her, I put it back, and she gets over it. She goes to find something else that she wants. Okay. And unfortunately, it was a bag of popcorn. So I had to tell her no again. So it was, and then it just, she falls out and screams, throws herself around.
And then what happens?
And then she'll eventually calm herself down.
What happened in this example?
In this example, I talked to her, Nova, you can't have it. Like, just trying to talk to her.
All right, so now I'm going to ask. Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to ask, I'm doing this, it feels like stage coaching. I'm doing this really fast, but normally we'd have a dialogue. Now I'm going to ask, has there been any time that she's thrown that tantrum, you've given her the popcorn or the cheese doodles?
Yeah, I know.
So this is her form of communication. I know in the past that if I lose my shit and I do a good job at it, my mom's going to cave and give me them cheese doodles, right? And then the minute you do that just one time, that's it. That worked. I'm going to keep, that's my go-to. And
so that's what I'm saying. So what do? I just let her cry?
Yes. We do never, ever, ever reinforce negative behavior with a reward. You've rewarded her for crying. So now she's learned that if I piss and moan enough, she's going to cave. She's going to give in. What you do at the same time, you don't just start with holding things. What you want to do is teach her a way to communicate that is acceptable, that will be rewarded with cheese doodles. So she loves cheese doodles. I love it. I didn't go off American Sign Language. I looked at like different signs for certain things and I created my own signs. So for example, like with her, you can either print out a picture of a cheese doodle, put it in a book and say, show me. And then you can kind of prompt her, do a full-on physical prompt of showing her, taking her hand, pulling out the picture of the cheese doodles and immediately presenting her cheese doodles. That's you teaching her through PECS that every time you show me the picture, I'm going to give you the reward. If you cry for it, you get nothing. So
Yeah,
that's probably my first step for you. If we were working together, that's what I'd say. We'd start to build out a bridge form of communication for her. We want to obviously get school on board with this. We definitely want to get her potty trained. That's a whole other can of corn. But this will at least get you started when you're thinking about communication skills. I want you to be so intentional now, like when you think about Nova and think about her potential, thinking about all the good that that she's capable of. And and how I think about her, is it serving me? Is it helping me to show up in those moments of tantrums and not caving?
Yeah. Because right now she's saying, go to bed. She knows it's bedtime. Go to bed.
That's not a nonverbal child.
No,
No, it's time for bed. She's telling you to go to bed. See what I'm saying? Like, this is why the mind, it's saying she's nonverbal is a total mind fuck for you. It is.
Right. And
so it may not be to other parents, but to you it is. And when you think that, you don't see the proof that that's not true.
Right. Right.
So you could say we're on our way to using functional language. One of the things we teach in the program is thoughts are fucking optional. They're not all true. I can choose to think whatever I want. I can think things that are going to want to have me motivated and working for my girl, or I can think things that are just going to let me feed her cheese doodles during a tantrum.
Right. Okay, so it's best to maybe like make some type of like images or something for her to.
You got to figure that out. So basically what I would do, if you don't have ABA through insurance, you're entitled to ABA through insurance. You need to look that up immediately. We all do that in our program as well. And then I would talk to my team and I'd say, team, I want to put in together a bridge form of communication for my child. It could be sign language, PECS, ACC. What do you think she'll do the best with? I could tell you, for example, we started with PECS with Juliana. She had a stint where she would take the pictures and just start twisting them in her hands. So I said, guys, this is not going to work. We need to do something different. So then that's when we came up with sign language for her. But this is how you're going to have to talk to your team. I want you to think about Nova. What do you think she'd take to? And I'd start there. Okay. And make a list of like 10 different things and say, okay, these are the things she asks for every day. This is where we're starting. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
All right. No problem. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. All righty. Allison H., you are up next. Hope I did that right. There we go. That was a good question. While we're waiting for Allison.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay.
Perfect. All right. So tell me about your baby, Allison.
It's not my baby. I was actually taking care of my sister-in-law's son yesterday.
Okay.
Until she got home from work. But the fact that he has autism, it was hard for me to communicate with him because I took him up the block for a block party. And they had these slides with a water, like a round basin with water. But I didn't know what he was trying to say, but it was just the screaming, the crying, and the aggressiveness. Is like, I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I called it.
Go ahead.
So it's like, I try to take it from that because his mom said he's only allowed to go under the sprinkler. So I took him to other stuff they had on the block. They had a basketball thing where you could throw the ball inside the net. So other parents noticed him crying, and I explained to them that that's his way of communicating, either screaming, crying, because he doesn't have enough words to form what he's trying to say. So they say they have specialists.
Yes, this is an exact example of why it's so important to develop a form of communication before they actually get their vocal language going, so that you can get some basic understanding of wants and needs. When that doesn't happen, you have this scenario where then they just start freaking out because they're getting so frustrated that you don't understand what they need. So as a aunt, I give you a lot of credit that you took this on. I'd be happy to speak to his parents. If they don't have a bridge form of communication in place or they don't know what that is, just send them my way. I'd be happy to talk to them and help them out with this. But, you know, when it comes to a situation like that, and let's say you have a child, you know, this is the thing. Like, let's say I had Juliana at a block party and she was pre-verbal. what I would do with that is I'd actually kind of like, if I know what's going to be there, there's going to be cotton candy, there's going to be a slide, there's going to be sprinklers. I'd actually kind of create pictures. We do this a lot with her. Even to this day, we do social stories around things. And I kind of let her know what's to be expected. And she could kind of pick from the book as to what she'd want to do. Now, if slides isn't an option because mom said it, then obviously I wouldn't share that. And you've got to pick your battles with your kids on the spectrum. If you're going to a block party and for whatever reason that they can't go on a slide, I probably wouldn't take them there. You know what I mean? Because that would be hard for any child, not just a child on the spectrum. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, tell her to come my way. I'd be happy to help her. But really the key here for that child specifically is that he's frustrated and freaking out and being aggressive because he has no way to vocalize his needs and express.
Yeah, because I noticed that with every store, even I walk away from that, every store that I go into, he's picking up stuff. And then when you tell him put it back, he's screaming, crying, and getting more angry.
Yeah. So listen, tell them to reach out to me. I'm happy to give them some, at least a path to head to. There's a lot to kind of unpack here with what you've shared, because you're not his primary caregiver. It's, I don't want to dump all this stuff on you. But
I give her the link to log in, and I don't know if she logged in or not.
Yeah, no, or just send her to my social media. She could send me a message. I'll be happy to help her. Okay.
What's the social media page?
Jen will put it in the chat for everybody.
All right.
All right. It was great talking to you.
Me too.
Okay. All right. Let's see who's up next. We will take, I'm just trying to go through questions and help as many people as I can. Emily, we are going to allow you up. Actually, I'm going to make you a panelist. There you go. So we can talk to you.
Yes. Oh,
hi. How are you? Tell me about your baby. Are you there? Oh, did we lose her? Oh, there she is. Oh,
no, you're good.
Nice
So I have two kids that are on the spectrum. One is 5, the other one is 3. My son is Evan. That's him right there. So that's him right there. So I do have a question with him. So I know I'm in ABA right now with the ACEs program, and they're telling me that I need to have one or two things for the what is it called? The reinforcement for using the potty train. So for my son, he won't keep still.
Okay.
I'm trying to get him to stay still, and the only thing that does keep him still is his iPad. And they said I can't use the iPad as a reinforcement because he uses it throughout the day.
Got it. Is he using it throughout the day because he's using it for language?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Well, not for language, but it's another reinforcement if he,
it's a part of
so
a
basically
reward system.
Yeah.
Okay,
Basically.
got it. And so Evan is 5, and what's your daughter's name?
Emmeline, and
Emily.
she's 3. They're both nonverbal. And I'm trying to get her to be in potty train too, and it's really, really hard.
Okay. So let's what I always tell any parent, we've had triplets in the program, twins. I tell every parent, if we have more than one child that needs to be potty trained, then we want to work on one child at a time. And
I'm trying to use my 5-year-old first.
Yes, perfect. So the reason we pick one at a time is so we don't get overwhelmed. And we also want to pick the child that you think is going to land it first. Like if you had to pick between both of them. All right, perfect. So we're definitely on the same page with Evan. Another thing here is that, listen, before we can potty train, we have to get over his potty phobia. And whether it's a phobia or not, I don't know. Mike just doesn't want to sit. The idea here is we need to get him to sit first. We need to get him to sit up to 5 minutes comfortably before we can even start potty training.
Got it. That's the problem.
Yes.
He
all right.
won't sit down for that long.
Now we have to talk about how to get him to sit. So one of the things you mentioned was the reward system, which is great. So we have this reward system. We want to come up with some rewards that are like 10s, like desire's got to be through the roof to have access to this item. So we figured that is the iPad, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So and so the teacher was saying, don't, if you can't bring the iPad, what's another reinforcement? And I was like, well,
You're
since
missing,
we're
well,
gonna be
that's
in a,
not the problem. The problem here
yeah.
is that you're presenting it incorrectly. So the
Ah,
idea
gotcha,
here
gotcha.
is first you
Uh-huh.
sit, and when you do that successfully, you get access to the thing.
Got it.
But now here's the rub with this. If they're using iPad to do other goals in their ABA sessions, you
Uh-huh.
have to make the decision of what's the priority. Them being able to use this high value reinforcer during their sessions, or you getting him potty trained. So I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you, what's the obvious answer?
That's good thing. That I don't know.
Oh, how interesting.
'Cause-
Do you want to continue changing shit diapers of a 5-year-old?
no,
You want to pay for diapers for 2 children?
no.
No, okay. That sounds like a top priority to me. So what
Yeah.
I would be encouraging the team to do is I would want them to figure, it's interesting how they're putting it on you for the rewards. I actually
Yeah.
like to think that that's their job, but that's fine. What we can do is you can ask them to Google, or anyone on here can Google reinforcer preference assessment. You'll get a whole bunch of like different charts. And basically it'll give them ideas
Uh-huh.
on other things they can use during their programming. Because we need to use the 10, the super desirable thing for potty training.
They were
Now,
like,
what Okay,
yeah, they
go-
were like telling me pick three top things that Evan likes to do while he's in the bathroom. And I was like, well, he does like playing with the water. So we have this little dolphin that squirts out water. So he likes watching that. And they're like, well, put that aside and put it in a bucket so he can watch the water spurts out while he's using the bathroom. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. So listen, what you have to do here as the mom, this is what I tell everybody in my program. I say, listen, just because you don't have the special education degree and you're not like a master's degree teacher in ABA doesn't mean
Yeah.
the CEO of this fucking establishment. And you have
Right.
to kind of direct them as to how you want this operation to run.
Got
So the way I see it for you is number
Mhm.
one is we want to use the iPad for the actual potty training. I don't want to use it for him to sit.
Got it.
I can if I have to, but the idea here is I feel that if we can use it, I don't want it to lose its value. So there's one of two ways we could do it. We could give him very short bursts of iPad time for compliance. So first
Okay.
thing we could do is tell the team, you're going to have to come up with some other reinforcer. Here's the checklist I printed out. Here's things I circled that you can try, but you're no longer using my iPad. I need that for potty training. So you're
Got
going
it.
to flip the script on them. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, you have the right to do that. You're the parent. And this is a priority for you to get done. You don't want to have to change 2 diapers right now. You're done with changing diapers. For 2 kids,
Exactly. I'm done.
okay. So, and it should be the priority for them to help you with this.
Uh-huh.
All right. So then once I do that, I have to get him to sit. So I want you to think I would withdraw. And if you're withholding iPad for him, the bad news, we also have to withhold iPad for Emily, because if he sees her with it, he will probably kill her. So we don't want
Of
that.
course.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that means that nobody gets iPad. It disappears. So one night they go to bed, they wake up in the morning, they say, where's my iPad? I don't know. But guess what? If you sit on the potty, I'm going to give you access to something. And I could talk about
Yes.
snacks, bubbles, stickers, Play-Doh. I don't give a shit.
That's
what
what they
it
were.
is. And
That's what they were saying too. Bring snacks as well. So
Yeah,
that way
absolutely,
he can use a
anything.
potty.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
is what we do with him. What we do with a child that doesn't sit is we baseline data first. If I just tell them to go sit, how quickly will he sit? And you start the stopwatch. If it's legit 5 seconds, great, that's your baseline. And he immediately
Got it.
gets recorded for the 5 seconds. Okay?
Got it.
Preferably something other than the iPad, because I want to save the iPad. The best way to increase desire for a 10, I know you're ready, you're about to panic. We'll talk about that in a minute. The best way to increase the desire for something that's a 10 is to withhold it. So when you represent it, it's like, whoa, I'll do anything to have access to that thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Children like this, I love. I know you're terrified. Children like this, I love because they'll potty train in like 5 seconds because they'll do anything to have access to that iPad again. So that's number one. So first thing is like, all right, let's say he sits for 5 seconds. Great. He gets a snack. Then I say, let's see if he sits for 10 seconds. Gets 10 seconds snack. You see how I'm increasing the time limits? 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. You can baseline data with pants on. How will he sit longer for pants on? Get that up to 5 minutes and say, okay, time to take pants off. You know, we really have to baseline the phobia. I call it a phobia. It could just be like a non-preferred, but let's just call it phobia just to keep it uniform. I just want to see what the baseline looks like and start my rewards there. Then I can just increase the interval of time that he sits. Once he sits successfully, when the timer goes off, they love the audio timers. Once the timer goes off, he can get off. You give him the reward immediately.
Got it.
Once that's built out to 4 or 5 minutes, enough time to do pee or poops, then you can start potty training. And that's when you bring in that fabulous iPad again.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the only parent because my husband doesn't help me with this. So it's hard for the both of them for being on the spectrum.
No, I know. It's, you know, it's really hard to them staying in diapers.
Yes. Yeah.
So listen, I get it. I'm married too, but it was like, this was my job.
Yeah.
What I would do once you get the phobia down, like what's okay, got it. I used my reinforcer system. I got everything up and running. Once you've done that, then you can start the actual potty training. And then what I like to do is every time they pee, they get 5 minutes. If they poop, they get 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And same thing, as soon as the timer's off, he's got to hand it back to you. Now he may lose his shit. You know, a kid that's used to getting what he wants when he loses his shit will lose it. But that's it. These are the terms. You no longer have unlimited access to this thing. And I want to talk to any parent, including you, who may have terrifying thoughts of my house burning down if I remove the electronics. I understand that. But let me explain something to you too. As a parent, right? These things, these iPads, these iPhones, I don't even know where mine is. They're meant to, I'm using it for Instagram. They're meant to be addictive. And we wouldn't want our children to have unlimited access to something that is addictive. But I'm more than happy to use that item to get the behaviors that I want. That item holds all of your power as a parent. Why would you want to give that away?
Yeah.
For what? A tantrum?
Well, for my kids, it's basically if they don't get the iPad, for my son, he won't let go of it. That's the number one thing that until we introduced them last year, and ever since then, they both just want to stay on it now. But when it comes to session time, I make sure it's away from 8 to 1. And then he rewards it afterwards, because after that 5 hours.
What I would be, and this is another thing in regards to the ABA that you're seeing, everyone should be seeing a lot of breaks and a lot of rewards. It shouldn't be 8. It shouldn't be, okay, good. So it's not like you're doing 8 to 1 with no breaks and then he gets the iPad as the final reward. Got it. So what we want to do, listen, you have the proof that they can live without it. Between 8 and 1 and when they're sleeping, they can live without it. So they can live without it all day too. And this isn't forever. This is temporary. We're trying to build a life skill here.
Yeah.
And if either of them sit, they can get their little reward. We're only focusing on Evan, though. We don't want to overwhelm you and focus on both of them. But I'll tell you what happens a lot of times. They see the one getting the fun and the reward, then they want in on the party too. But I don't want you to focus on that. Your focus is Evan. And the idea here is when you present the iPad, she's going to see that and say, hey, I want that. Listen, you go pee-pee on the potty like Evan, you're going to get it. You see what I'm saying? And he's going to be the peer role model because he's going to start to do this. You're going to start teaching him this. What we do is a 3-day intensive. I'll have Jen share in the comments, Jen, the link to the Potty Power webinar. That's going to give you the A to Z of potty training once you're ready. But the first thing you have to do is just get him to sit up to 5 minutes. And you're going to build up that time. And you tell that team, like, listen, I'm the CEO here. You better figure out what other reinforcements that you can use. I'll give you some input on my experience as his mother, but I need to take that iPad away. I need that for potty training.
Yeah, I have actually. We have parent training tomorrow, so hopefully we get it started.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for you. Keep
And
me
thank
posted.
you.
No
Of course
problem.
I
Keep me
will.
posted. All right, I'll talk to
Okay,
you
thank
soon.
you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, I am going to take one more. I'm going to take Amanda, and then I am going to answer some questions, and then we're going to wrap. This went so fast. It's crazy. Sabrina Nelson wrote, how do I get my child to engage in activities, mainly to listen and follow directions? So what I would do in that instance, Sabrina, is I would be looking at what my child loves to interact with. Then I want to think about the activities I'm asking. Is it fun? We want to, if good ABA, if you're getting ABA in your home and you're not sure if it's good or not, I'll tell you how it's good. The child should not be like screaming and crying when the therapist walks in. It shouldn't be a screaming and crying fest the whole entire time they're there. It should look like play always. And when you're first starting out, they should be pairing, meaning like they're building that trust, that relationship with each other. And if they're doing that correctly, then they can start to put demands on them very gently with a lot of breaks and a lot of reward system in place. We always say that whatever the ask is, the reward has to be 10 times that. That's why I love an iPad for potty training in that example. But if you want your child to engage in specific activities and follow those directions, you want to make it worth the ask. So I loved it. Like we used to have Juliana do table time for like maybe sorting or matching, and she'd get a cookie. Or she did not like, I didn't give her a whole box of cookies, give her like a little piece of a cookie or give her a mini cookie so that she still wants to continue the play. Okay. All right. Perfect. All righty. Amanda, are you ready to chat with me? Lots of good questions tonight. Amanda, are you here? Amanda. Amanda, are you here? All righty. I'm going to put her back to panelists. Anybody wants to be coach, raise your hand. I can do one more before I leave. Let's answer another question in the chat here. Emily Lou, are you still here, Emily? Oh, here's Sabrina. You know what? I will take Sabrina because we just talked. But I will answer Emily Lou's question. Emily Lou, my 27-year-old son has language, mainly needs based language. He communicates only when he wants something. That's an interesting way to describe him. How do I promote pragmatic language, interactive communication? So first off, I wanted you to acknowledge, Emily, that we do have some pragmatic language. He's using it when he wants something. That's I love it. That's a very smart little boy. He knows what he needs and he'll use his voice. So what you have to do is we just have to shape that language. I want to be so intentional on how we describe our kids and the skill sets that we have, because he actually has pragmatic language. We just want to have more of a dialogue. So again, it's that same situation where we want to like do things that would be fun for him to want to have a dialogue with you. I remember one of the things I did with Juliana when we were trying to really build out her language, there was this game called Guess Who. And you had a card with a picture of a person, and she had a card with a picture of a person, and she had to ask all of these questions. And it was fun because we were playing a game and she was super competitive. She loved games. And that was a good way to get her to ask me questions, even though it wasn't really directly about me. It was giving her practice and having like a dialogue. So that's just a good example there. But he's 27 months. I think, if he's already asking for things they want, she's doing excellent, Emily, and I'm sure you are good reason for that. All right, Sabrina, are you ready to chat with me?
Yes.
I'm sure I'm saying your name wrong. How do you say it?
Sabria.
Sabria. Okay, I apologize. Sabrina. Okay, that's great. All right, do we have a son or a daughter?
A son.
Son. And what's his name?
Liam.
Liam. And how old is Liam?
He's 4.
4. Okay, so tell me, what could I help you and Liam with today?
I have a hard time when we're out in public. He kind of runs off sometimes, and I'll call him and he'll just keep going and he won't listen. And it's kind of a struggle and a safety hazard.
Okay. Does he have vocal language?
He says some words.
Are they functional or they're just like things he hears?
Yes.
Okay.
No, they're functional.
So like, give me some examples.
He'll say go. He'll say, like, he'll name things like car. If he sees a car, he'll say car. He'll say go. He'll sometimes repeat words that he hears,
Okay.
but he's not really making sentences or anything at the moment.
Okay. Does he ever use language to ask for his wants and needs?
No, he'll grab my hand and guide me to what he wants.
Okay. So the reason I ask about communication, she came to me with eloping, but the reason why I ask about communication is a lot of times they're eloping because they can't communicate what they want to do. And we're not being clear with them as to what's going on while we're out. So obviously it is a safety hazard. The first thing you want to do is avoid having safeties in place to avoid that situation from happening. Either have assistance with you, make sure that you're always kind of like, if you're taking him out, that, you know, you're able to concentrate on him and make sure that he doesn't run away. Obviously, we want to avoid the situation. I call it like the bomb squad mom method. We want to avoid any situations that could be dangerous. And if they are going to be a situation like you're going into a crowded place that you have some help, he's strapped into a stroller, whatever the case may be. Now that once we get past that point, how do we get him from eloping? The first thing we want to do is try and understand when he does elope. Where is it? Where is he headed? Is he just trying to burn off energy? Is he attention seeking behavior? What's the function of his elopement?
I think a lot of times he's just maybe playing, or he sees something that he likes and he just runs off.
Okay.
Sometimes I think he feels like it's a game.
Okay. So let's give it a percentage. Most, how many out of a percentage of like 0 to 100%? How many times do you think the eloping is a game?
Maybe like 60%.
60%. All right. So most of the time, more than half the time when he's eloping, it's an intention seeking behavior.
Yes.
Okay. So when we understand, the reason why I ask a lot of questions around this, that we want to get really clear on the behavior as to why it's happening. So in this particular instance, she's saying that, he's eloping. It seems like when he's eloping, he's trying to get my attention to play a game. The idea with elopers is we want to give them more positive reinforcement, more encouragement to stay close than to run away. So what we did with Juliana, because she was a runner, is what I did with her is I would take her into a store that I knew only had one way in and out, like a Walgreens or CVS is perfect for this. Usually it's like one door in and out, right? So I know that even if she ran off, she's somewhere in the store. Okay. What I would do with her is I'd carry some things with me that I knew she loved. And I say, if you stay close to me, and I kept encouraging her as we walked through the store, I'd do a fake shop. So I'd go in there knowing that we may leave and not do any shopping. But I'd go in there and we're going to practice having her stay close by. And every time she stays close by for a certain amount of time, she gets verbal praise and maybe a little reward. Could be stickers, could be a little toy, could be candy, could be whatever. So as we're walking through the store, I'm always encouraging her that it's more valuable for you to stay next to me than to run off. And if it is attention-seeking behavior, it has a dual purpose because now he's getting a lot of your attention because you keep encouraging him and praising him for staying close to you. And then what I would do is we'd start to build out more space, and then I would call her name. And I'd make a big deal about it. Like I'd get down on my hands and knees and I'd open my arms and she'd come running. It was like a fun thing. So it was another way to encourage her that when she's called, she comes back to me. So what I would do with your son is I would kind of like build out these deliberate outings in a place where you can kind of like control the environment. I mean, there's nowhere he could get hurt. And I would bring these reinforcers. I would tell him what we're doing. And if he stays and he's a good boy, he's going to get this thing. And I keep saying that as you go through the aisles, as you walk, oh, what a good boy. You're sitting right next to me. Here's an M&M. Oh, what a good boy. Here's the sticker. You see what I'm saying? And you're encouraging him to sit next to you. The thing about The next thing I would work on with you, which I think would be huge, is the communication. Because a lot of the times if they're running off, either they don't want to continue doing what they're doing and they can't say that. Maybe they have to go to the bathroom. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they're hungry. And there's no way for them to communicate those things. So a lot of times the kids will run off to break the whatever is doing so that they know that that'll usually get them out of there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. A lot of the times when we have a huge field across the street from our house, and I'll take him there, and it's next to a playground. So I'll take him there to like play, kick a ball, go on the swings, and just play. And he'll just like run off, and I'll call him like, Liam, you're going too far. And he'll look at me, and he'll turn around, and he'll just keep running off. Most of the time, it's he has an obsession with playing in like sand or dirt.
Okay.
So there's like a baseball pit over there. He tried to go over there and play inside the little sand that they have over there.
Uh-huh.
So he'll just ignore me and he'll keep going.
Okay, so this is the thing. What happens then?
I'll go after him to catch up with him, and he'll throw a tantrum, like a little tantrum, because he wants to play in the dirt, and then I'll redirect him to come back to the park and play.
Okay. Why not take him home immediately?
I'll try to give him like another chance, you just
But why
come
though?
outside and play.
This is the thing here. We want to be intentional about we're teaching them through behavior what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Now I'm going to reward, right? My example with you taking him through the store and keeping him by your side. And this is a practiced. I did this with her. We went to stores where I was like, if I walk out with nothing, that's fine. We're not really here to shop. We're here to see if she can just stay by my side. I used to have panic attacks about this. This was because she would always run off. And I went in there intentionally, like, we are here to run an exercise. And if this doesn't work, I walk out with nothing. I'll go food shopping at another time. This is not meant to be an actual shop. This is meant to me running a program with my daughter. And I love positive reinforcement. It's always my go-to, but negative reinforcement has its place. And if he runs off, the play is over. Nothing. You don't have to communicate that with language. You're going to pick him up and take him in the car, and he's going to know it's over. And you're going to say, listen, you can give them one warning. If you run away, we're going home. And he knows what that means. And if you're not sure if he knows what that means, you can put a picture of a little boy running away and show him, if you do this, we're going home. A lot of times we think because this doesn't work, that these don't work. These work amazing. So what I want to say with this is that, and this is where I want to say about like, there's parents who can discipline and still love. And that's what you'd be showing him, is if he goes and he runs off into into an area that he shouldn't be, and you go and give him a second chance, you've taught him that I can do this and there's no consequence.
Okay. I usually try to give him like 3 strikes. I tell him, if you do this, we're going to go home. And the third time he does it, before he does it, I tell you have one more chance and then we're going to leave. And then he does it and we go home. Sometimes it works depending on the day, but then sometimes it doesn't work.
But you've given him 3 opportunities to do behavior that we don't want.
Yeah, because I kind of, I feel bad sometimes because so most of the time we just went outside and we'll be outside for 1 minute and he'll go do something that he's not supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad that.
I know.
Yeah.
I get it. I want to understand the I feel bad part. Because we both acknowledge that this could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. And if I'm like this, there's indulgence in love. There's 2 types of parenting here, right? There's indulgence in love where, I'll give you 3 chances. Well, who's got fucking time for that? That's number 1, right? I'll give you 3 chances to stress me out, make my hair go gray and run off on me. And then once that happens, then we're going home. Or is discipline in love? I am very clear with you on the terms of your enjoyment of the playground. If you mess up one time, we're out of here. And I know like, ooh, that hurts. I get it. But this is you showing him through behavior that that what you're doing is a non-negotiable for me. It's dangerous. 3 strikes on this could be it could be a huge mistake. And I don't have an issue with the 3 strikes. It's not even about that. It's about that he needs to understand what the rules are crystal clear. Because I'm sure, if we're honest, because I've done it too, so I'm going to say I'm part of this club too. If I've given him 3 strikes, sometimes I let it go to 5. Sometimes I just let it go altogether. Right?
Yeah.
What I want to say is that the mother who disciplines and loves is serving her child so much more than the one that indulges and loves. Because you're teaching him a life skill. The other one is just entertaining. I can love and show him a life skill of he needs to stay by me, he needs to follow my direction, or I can just let him have free reign. And I think what ends up happening for us parents of children with autism is that we start to feel a little bad for them. And we kind of like, oh, well, he doesn't understand. Oh, this is the only thing that he loves. And I'm taking it away from him. That's a thought. I feel bad. That's a thought too. Feels like shit. But if I look at this and say, I'm teaching my baby a life skill, he needs to know these are the rules of the playground. And if he breaks the rules, he doesn't get to go to the playground. And this is me showing up and loving my boy.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And don't think it's your fault. Somebody did that. Like, this is my fault. I don't want you to feel like that. It's nothing to do with anything about it. It's not your fault. That's bullshit. These are kinds of the things that we talk about in my group coaching programs that I don't want you I don't want you to blame yourself. It's fucking useless to blame yourself. It's useless to feel bad for him. And all that shit's useless. I call it mental mud. While you're sitting there feeling bad for him, giving him all these chances, he's not learning anything. He's just enjoying his time in the dirt. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I show up for him as his mom and I make the hard decision to leave after I've done it, I've done it a few times. My daughter will have a play date, call the mom, come get her. I'm sorry, you have to come get your daughter. My daughter's not behaving. She's hysterical crying, begging me to stop. My heart is breaking. But I am here to not just love her, but to show her the proper way to behave. And when she doesn't do that, there's a consequence for it. And when she does do it, there's amazing rewards for it. And he'll know that because he'll get to stay on the playground. He'll get to continue to have his outdoor time. Was that helpful for you?
So one and done. He does it one time and we're done.
Done. We're out of there. You can tell him beforehand. You get out. Listen. Say, listen, honey. Listen, Liam. We're gonna go to the park. You have to stay by my side. You stay by my side, I'm gonna give you a little treat. You're not gonna tell him what's the benefit of staying by my side. You're gonna get a little treat. You're gonna get mommy's attention. I'm gonna play with you, whatever you want. I'm gonna pull the bubbles. I'm gonna bring the bubbles this time. But if you run away one time, we're gonna go home. It'll be over. And you know what he's gonna do? Most likely, he's gonna fucking run. Because he's done it and you've never followed through. So then you're going to say, guess what, buddy? I meant it. Whoop, you swoop him up, you throw him in the car, he cries, he puts, I love when they do the arch back where you can't even like strap him in. Just manhandle him down, you strap him in. I told you, we'll try again tomorrow. Or try again next week. He'll remember that. He won't remember mom put me through this torture device. My mom just remember when mom says she means it. And if I do it, she's gonna give me candy, she's gonna give me all this attention. I love it. It's not just the negative, there's fun in there too. He just made a choice and that there was a consequence for it.
Yeah.
Was that helpful?
Yes, very. Thank you.
All right, cool. All right, well, I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, I'm going to answer a couple of questions. Jen, if anyone is interested in talking to me, maybe one-on-one, you felt a little shy tonight, we have what we call like a strategy session where you can call us. She's going to put a link in the chat box. If you're interested in learning more about my program, if you want it, like, hey, Michelle, can I just ask you real quickly about this? That's what these calls are about, just to help you out with wherever you're at, kind of telling you what we think you should do. And if you want to hear more about our program, I'd be happy to share that with you. Jen will put the link for the call in the chat box. I'm just going to go through the questions real quick to see if there's anything. I'm having the same issues with my son, Ethan. He's 5, not potty trained. He's pre-verbal. I love it. He makes a lot of sounds, but no real words. I'm in between homes right now, so there's not a lot of room for consistency, and meltdowns are becoming way more frequent. Help. So this is the thing about that. I never encourage anybody to potty train when you're going through a move, divorce, death, change of jobs, new baby. You want to make sure that everything's pretty neutral. When you have a child on the spectrum, actually for any child, doesn't have to be a child on the spectrum, we want to make sure that life is as structured as possible for them. Children crave structure. Structure to a child equals safety. So when things are like in the middle, like a move, and maybe it's not like a quick move, maybe there's just a lot of parts to it, and the child's not sleeping in the same bed every night, or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that's what's going on here, but we want to make sure that even in those situations, there's a set bedtime, there's a routine, there's a whatever, because then the child will feel unsafe, and that'll encourage behaviors to happen. So once you're in your new home, then we can start potty training him. And then we're going to do the baseline. Can he sit without having to be forced to sit? We don't ever force a child to sit. We want to get them to sit up to 5 minutes with no issue. If they can do that, then we can start potty training. But if you're in between homes right now and you're trying to figure that part out, get that resolved first. While you're in that space, create a consistent routine. When I say routine is like, just put them on a schedule. We get up at this time, we eat lunch at this time, we eat breakfast this time, we go to bed at this time, we take showers, all that stuff. That helps to create that safety, and that'll hopefully help to reduce the tantruming. Also, tantruming and communication skills, they go hand in hand. So if you're having issues with tantruming, you work on communication, it'll squash the tantruming. 9 times out of 10, it'll help with the tantruming a lot. All right, how do I encourage my daughter to speak more freely? I hope I've answered some of that tonight. Should I keep my 6-year-old son within regular schooling or enroll in full-day ABA therapy program? That is a good question, Raquel. What I would say here is we want to baseline where the child's at. So if the child can't communicate, they're not potty trained, and they're having behaviors, I would pull that child in a heartbeat, even if they're school age, and put them in a full day ABA program, or I'd have ABA done at the house, get those three goals established, and then I would reintroduce them back into a group program. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. If anybody wants to talk to me, Jen put the call, she put the call link in the chat. This was so fun. I hope this was helpful for everybody. If you have any questions, DM me, send me an email, book a call. Maybe I'll do this again. I think this was fun. Bye, everybody.